This is your unit rate notes. This lesson will apply to everything in this row. Unit rates in the real world scenarios is where we're going to start, because what better way to start than to find out when you're going to use this. Unit rate is the cost or mileage, etc., for 1 unit. Example, you can purchase 6 boxes of tissue for $15. How much does each box cost? Write the information given as a ratio. I'm going to say 6 boxes for $15. Next, set up a proportion to determine the cost of just 1 box of tissue. Don't forget to write a ratio using words first. So I'm going to set it up as boxes to the amount of money. So I have 6 boxes for $15. I want 1 box. I'm figuring out how much it's going to cost me. So we're going to solve for the missing information by again cross multiplying. So I get 6x equals 15. Divide both sides by 6. And 6 goes into my numerator 2 times. Bring that 0 down. Make sure you bring your decimal up, and 6 goes into 35 times. So each box will cost $2.50. Your shortcut, rather than setting up a proportion, you can always just divide the dollar amount by the number of units, which is what we did here. We said 15 divided by 6, and we got 2.5. Right, so obviously we have guided practice coming up here. So pause the video, go ahead and try it out, and then when you're ready, click play. So in this example, 12 gallons of gas cost $45. How much was each gallon? The cost was $45 for 12 gallons of gas, so write this as a ratio, 45 to 12. So my word ratio is money to gallons. So everything dealing with money is going to be in my numerator. The next piece is to find the cost of 1 gallon. So I'm going to set up a proportion. But again, you can jump straight to the shortcut by saying 45 divided by 12, and boom, there's going to be your answer. Equals x over 1. I'm going to cross multiply and get 12x equals 45. Either way, I'm doing the exact same thing. So I'm going to divide anyway. When I divide 12 into 45, I get $3.75. Right, so going on to the vocabulary, your constant of proportionality is the constant value of the ratio of 2 proportional quantities. You would say y equals mx, where m is your constant of proportionality. So I'm just going to read that back one more time. Constant proportionality is the constant value, so it's going to change at the same rate, of the ratio of 2 quantities that are proportional. You're going to use this equation where m is that constant of proportionality. M is going to be the value that it changes at the same rate. So when we are calculating unit rates from a table, proportional relationships can be represented in tables. They can also be represented in graphs. They can also be represented in equations. The tables can be used to identify the constant of proportionality. Finding the constant of proportionality from a table, 1, this is 2 ways. So this is method 1, and this is method 2. If you find a value of 1 in the left column, the number in the column to the right is the constant of proportionality. So boom, 25 cents per cookie, done. If there was no 1 in the table, you're going to set up a proportion using another pair from the table, and you can just divide those two and get your proportion. So this is saying to set up a proportion. If I were to say 1.5 or $1.50 for 6 cookies, how much would 1 cookie be? Well, you're still going to do $1.50 divided by 6, and either way you're going to get 25 cents per cookie. All right, so looking at graphs, proportional relationships, as I said, can also be represented in graphs. The graphs can be used to identify the constant of proportionality, and this is really important. Graphs really help you make predictions because it gives you a trend. The trend is that it's going in this direction. Finding the constant of proportionality from a graph, again, method 1, method 2. If you find the point 1x on the line, the point is constant of proportionality, aka the unit rate. So, boom. Oh, it's not exactly on, because I see that it's 4.5. So, this one we couldn't use because it didn't hit these intersections perfectly. If that was 1.4, boom, we would be done, but it's actually just a little bit above, so I can't use that first method. So I have to use the second one. We can't clearly identify the coordinates, so we're going to set up a proportion. You can choose whatever point you want. They chose 8 cupcakes, cost $36 because that one was a very clean point. That one intersected the graph exactly. So they said the cost per dozen, $36 for 8 dozen equals x over 1. All they did was divide 36 by 8. So there's your shortcut, and you get 4.5. So your cupcakes cost $4.50 per dozen.